Folks, Buffin here with another spell to end fascism. This is going to be also focused on Joe Biden's Antifa Joe spell, using the Joe Biden role, and basically trying to end fascism in America and all through the world, focused on what Joe Biden can do as president and what we can do based upon those ideas. So the first thing is I want to give some credit to President Biden for what he's done good, which there's been numerous things, but the one that stands out the most to me right now is that he's making progress towards arresting Trump. It's like the most important thing you can do to end fascism, and we're coming out of the rule of the most fascist president we've had, is to go ahead and arrest him for what he's already done. So that's an important step. And with the investigation into the January 6th Trump insurrection, we're getting closer to that. But, the progress at this point, October 12th, 2021, is Steve Bannon has been subpoenaed and has thumbed his nose at the subpoena. Like he doesn't have to comply because he thinks he has executive privilege. So this is all these people thinking that they have some type of Trumpy powers that Trump no longer even has, people have to point out. Now executive privilege is for the current executive. And again, the longer Joe Biden lets Trump run free, the more some people think that Trump is actually still president, which he's not. The more some people think that Trump's going to come back, which he's not. But it just emboldens these crazy brainwashed people, Trumpers. And we need to have them all come back to America because they really betrayed us by becoming Trumpers. And while that's a good thing that they're making progress, the Department of Justice is going after more of the organizers and stuff and maybe getting closer to Trump. Like, closer isn't good enough. It's kind of like waiting for the Mueller report. Like, we can't just keep waiting. We've got to actually have some progress, some resolution, and some consequences for the people at the heart of this. Now, the things that Biden hasn't been doing so well, one is he was elected by Black Lives Matter campaign. That's what put him well over the top. And the officer who shot Jacob Blake in Kenosha is not being charged. So while the Department of Justice has done some good things going after some of these Trump insurrectionists, it's not doing enough to go after the bad police. And that's what we put him in office for. So we're going to want more responses on that. We don't want just a few token responses. We want systematic change and, all the people who've done wrong to actually face some types of consequences for it. Now, that relates to the other thing that Biden has not done the opposite of Trump enough. And you want to just do everything completely opposite of Trump because Trump was a total and complete Nazi. So you want to do everything the opposite of him. And the immigration policies have not been changed enough under Biden, specifically regarding Haitian refugees, who Biden has deported by the thousands back to Haiti right after they had an earthquake. That's not right. That can't stand, and it's done even though Biden cleaned up some of the actions where the Border Patrol were chasing them down on horseback, looking like they did to the Standing Rock water protectors under Obama and Trump. They cleaned that up by removing those officers, but the system that allowed that to happen is still completely in place. And that's what needs to be changed and cleaned up and removed. We don't really need Border Patrol. We really need a better immigration system, a system where refugees can actually come to this country like what America was made to be like. So that's why we need to get back to America, go 180 from the things that Trump was doing to make it America again. Make America America again. And then also just helping other immigrants as well, but all sorts of immigrants. We're helping some Afghan refugees resettle here after what we did to their country. But we need to be able to be open to all people and recognize that we have space, and that's how most of us got here. And then we also need to be doing better for the people that were here when America got here. And that's another story, but important here on Indigenous Peoples Day, which we need to have, more than a day undoing celebrating Christopher Columbus. We need like a whole undoing of the way America has been racist and terrible. This legacy of that, and it's not like that's all America has been, but it has been that for a really long time. We have to acknowledge that and change it. And that's the nature of the immigration policy. What's wrong with that too, and why it needs to be changed. It's not just a symbol, or not just what's affecting everyone's lives. It's what America we're going to feed and honor and create in the future. Whether we're going to back to this fascist Trumper America, or whether they're going to make the America that we've always been intended to be. And the last thing I want to say about getting fascism, removing fascism from America, from the world, and specifically from Joe Biden, is to stop trying to cause conflict with China. We have no reason to be spending more on military. We've just proven through Iraq and Afghanistan that war doesn't even work anymore. We don't even get anything for it other than a bunch of people dead and a bunch of waste. We can spend all those resources better on other things. And trying to act like we need to be on some submarine race with China is ridiculous and unnecessary. All we need submarines for is like exploring, not for military. And if we're racing with anybody, we don't need to race this or try to outdo this, but Putin and Russia have an AI unmanned submarine that also shoots missiles. I mean, like nuclear missiles. A nuclear powered robot submarine. They're the ones who are also like, I don't know, putting cameras on dolphins and whales and stuff for military purposes. But they have an unmanned robotic submarine, not a nuclear whale, but it's called Poseidon, or they're working on that. We don't need to try to outdo that with like a smarter robot nuclear submarine. We need to find some way to stop that from ever happening in the first place. And the best way to do it is just in military. We can just stop raising the bar. We, America, as the country that spends more on military than the next 8 or 10 countries combined, can just stop making that the game that we play on this world. Because it's not a game. It's threatening to destroy us, not just from if we blow ourselves up with all the weapons, but all the waste of that industry is taking away resources that we really need to actually save the world together. So let's do that instead. And thank you, Joe Biden, for the things you've done. But let's go ahead and go full 180 against everything that Trump has done so that we get America back. Thank you all for watching, commenting, and sharing. And we'll be doing this again because it's not done. But thanks for watching to this part and helping in the magic, helping in the spell.